So, hey, Brian,
Hi,
how's
Mark. How are you?
how's things?
Yeah, all good here. All good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do we find you today? Where are you?
Where am I today? I'm in my studio at home. Just give you a little look, just a little tiny look around here.
Nice.
This is my home studio, my man cave, um,
Yeah,
where
Dave.
where I do all my magic. It's great. And this studio's in a place called Cove in
Mm-hmm.
County Cork in Ireland.
Yeah.
Is where I've been for the last 25 years, something like that. So
Wow.
yeah, this is where you can find me.
Absolutely
Yeah,
fantastic. Is it nice
beautiful
day
place.
today? Is it weather good?
It's been glorious. Yeah, absolutely stunning. Yeah, really good.
Nice.
A little
Nice.
bit chilly, but obviously because it's March, it's you
Yeah,
never.
yeah. Can forgive and can't.
Apparently, we're going to have snow this weekend, so I'll wait and see what happens.
Oh no. Well, if you're stuck in your studio, it's all right, I guess, isn't it?
That's a great place to be when it's
Yeah,
snow.
everything's good. Everything's good. So it's
Yeah,
really nice to meet you, Brian. Honestly, I've
yeah,
been
like yeah.
I've been looking forward to talking to you. I really have. Yeah. So, can you remember your earliest memory of music? The first song you can recall hearing, like maybe in your parents' car or
My God. Oh, I mean, there was so many, Mark, so many,
yeah,
but there are a few that would really stick in my mind. My father used to walk around the house singing, and he'd be on top notch. So I'd pick up on his songs and I'd listen to them because my mother would play them on the record player and things like that. And
yeah,
the records like Charlie Pride and Slim Whitman and Neil
oh,
Diamond,
yeah,
real oldie goldies.
yeah,
That would have been the first my introduction to music when I was very very young.
yeah,
Um, I was probably with maybe 5 or 6 when I started realizing what it was all about.
yeah,
By the age of 9, I picked up a guitar and away I went. You know,
yeah.
I could.
Amazing. So obviously similar songs were playing in your house when you were growing up then, that kind of music.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. Then I have an older sister and an older brother, and my older sister was into all the real pop kind of stuff, Cher and Sonny and Cher and the Bay City Rollers and
Yeah,
God, you name it. She had a huge record collection. It was a beautiful record collection.
yeah,
But my brother, he was more into the, I suppose, a bit more edgy kind of stuff, which seriously influenced me. I mean, obviously, he's my older brother. I look up to him, and
mm,
he's a real icon. He was a real good guy.
yeah,
And, um, so he really influenced me musically to what he was playing, and it was anything. I mean, we went through like the punk era when we were kids, like
yeah,
just small kids, like. But on the back end of that, where we grew up, all the back end, we're moving away from punk and back into like more solid rock.
yeah,
Rock bands, like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath.
mm,
There was all those kind of bands, Tangerine Dream to drift off, Pink Floyd, all this, all those influences
yeah,
bounced around my musical trait, as it were, when I was just a kid.
mm,
So, which was really interesting. It was a very very interesting time because we were actually living in the middle of a historic musical movement and
yeah,
didn't realize it. You
yeah.
wouldn't. You're right
Not
in the
at the
middle.
time,
You don't
no.
really know the historic impact that's going to have.
Mm,
The legacy it's going to have for decades to come. But when you're right in it, I mean, it was just electrifying, and it really.
yeah,
I embraced every second of it, and away I went. I mean, I was hanging around in bands by the time I was 11, maybe
wow,
12.
yeah,
Couldn't play notes. I could play chords and
yeah,
stuff like that, but didn't really know what we were doing.
mm,
But I had a certain direction, whereas
yeah,
the rest of the lads were just smacking instruments around. I was trying to structure the lads, trying to get them all moving and in unison and in sync,
yeah.
possible. So yeah,
Yeah, because
great.
you said like, by the age of 9, you kind of got into music then, didn't you? You
Yeah.
started then playing. I'm going to say, when was the spark that kind of got you, like you wanted to pick up a guitar or you wanted to write a song maybe, or
Well,
when was that kind of happen?
what happened was we lived in an old house, and my mother and father bought a new house with a shop and everything attached to it, so my mother could run a bigger shop. We were all really shop, but we kept the old property for years. And I don't know, we just didn't sell it. I was only a kid, but we still had a lot of furniture and belongings and everything in the old house. So at 9 years old, I would sneak the keys for the old house
Yeah.
from the hook, and I only basically up the road and around the corner. It was 200-300 away, but I would sneak into the old house where my mother had this really old jumbo guitar, and the thing was bigger than I was. It was huge. It was mad. I mean, to me, it was like a coffin, with strings on it, and it only had 3 strings. But in the guitar case, she had a couple of sets of old strings, from years back, and I figured out how to put the strings on.
Yeah.
And I figured out how to tune it,
Yeah.
and figured out how to play chords. No lessons, no books, nothing really. There was an ragged old book in the bottom of the guitar case, and I think how I fathomed out how to tune the guitar, But it fascinated me, and I was plucking strings one by one, and then 2 by 2, then 3 by 3, and then forming chords and everything around that, and it was just this thing in my head saying, "Look, I could make music for films. I could make music by doing this," and that really, really, it struck a note. Pardon the pun, but it really, that's what kind of that was the Flint moment,
Yeah.
and it
That's amazing.
something in me, and and I just didn't stop. And then eventually we sold the old house, and we got the guitar down in the new house, and my family couldn't believe what they were seeing. By then I was 10-year-old boy with a guitar that's bigger than him, sitting there on a couch out in the middle of nowhere, prodigy moment, child prodigy in the middle of nowhere. I'm just sitting on the couch playing this guitar. My whole family around me going, "What? What's?" It was amazing. Really
you didn't
funny.
want to tell them that you've been sneaking off.
Yeah, I didn't realize what I was doing. I just carried. It was just an extension of what I was doing, and not thinking that nobody had ever seen me do that. The bones were about 8 or 9 months. It was really funny.
So did that lead to like being in a band then from school, at school, sorry?
It did. It did. Like I said, that really, the Flint moment, ignited something in me that just never dimmed. It never went out. By the time I was 11, I was rallying around a bunch of lads in my class and my school. It was kind of they were half interested in music, and we our first punk band called Volume.
Right.
When we were about 12, 11, and that lasted till I was about 14, 15, funnily enough. So it was 2 or 3 years, and we would just rattle around, and then when you leave school and you start things like that, and life changes a little bit,
Yeah.
So by the time I was kind of 16, 17, that kind of, there was more to discover, and that kind of, that side of my life kind of waned a little bit,
Right.
But then again, there's an old friend of mine from school. I bumped into him one day, and he said, "I'm forming a band, just a club band. Do you want to join?" I'm playing bass, and I was 18 at the time, and I said, "Yeah, cool. Why not? Nothing to lose." And I never stopped after that. That was it. It was just band after band after band. But I really had it in my bones by then, anyway.
Yeah.
And it was flowing through my blood. So by the time I was 20, 21, I'm racing for record contracts. I'm writing all kinds of songs, really cool songs as well at the time, for such a young fella. and it all took off from there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So do
Very
you remain like writing punk songs, or was it just any songs and every songs?
It was actually what was going on was obviously by that stage punk had kind of it had floated into the ether
Yeah.
and um, left us with a lot of brilliant music, but it was fading into like the new romantics and all that stuff, and I didn't know
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
So I followed the rock path.
Yeah.
I was into bands like Def Leppard and White Snake and
Yeah.
shall I say Bon Jovi? I don't know. Someone I'll go out now. I'll get struck by lightning. But no, that poodle rock, kind of really,
The big hair and yeah.
yeah, it was that really done something for me. There was a lot of melody going
Yeah.
on, which really floated my boat.
Mhm.
All that melodic rock. I wasn't really into the idea of love songs and things like that. I thought that was
No.
bit tame and cheap,
Yeah.
overdone. So I was writing things that would really meant something, that had a had
Mhm.
a tangible future
Yeah.
lyrically. And by the time I was 22, 23, I was camping out on doorsteps in London
Right.
of RCA, Universal, Warner, CBS,
Wow.
Virgin,
Yeah.
EMI, and I got to see every single one of them.
Wow.
Everyone. It must have been 20 to 25 major labels actually let
Okay.
me in through the door because I was
Yeah.
camping out on the doorstep. I had this cassette tape in my hand, and my hair was everywhere. And I'd been down to Camden Market and got myself punked up, and pimped up a bit. It was great. So yeah, so that was a big bunch of songs that I had then, um, which it sparked a little bit of interest in London at the time,
Yeah.
which was great because there was a lot of things happening at the time, and you could actually do that. You could walk into
Yeah.
make an appointment with an A&R office and walk into to the labels.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of
Did
my
anything did anything come from it, or did you get a lot of
what happened.
interest?
What happened was CBS loved it. They
Mm.
really got hold of the material until they
Yeah.
found out where we lived. And then really, I think the truth of it is that they couldn't be bothered to come and see us, because we were like 500 miles away. Um, now
Oh.
we rigged up a gig for CBS to come along
Yeah.
and got all our fans down, and they didn't show up, which completely broke me in half.
I bet. Yeah. I
It really
bet.
really hurt me. So apparently, I got back onto them the next day, and their A&R chief had swapped
Mm.
ship down to Universal, and I couldn't trace him down after that.
Oh.
And this is in a time where there was no mobile phones, there was no internet. It was all done
Yeah.
by letter,
Yeah.
phone boxes, you
Yeah.
know, on my parents' phone, or it was a crazy, crazy time. Anyway, what happened was I kind of I didn't stop. I kept on going, kept on beating on the door, and
Yeah.
kept on banging the drum, as it were.
Yeah.
And finally, a cousin of mine was working in Manchester. And he was a really great session musician, a really good
Mm.
guy, and he was working a lot of studios with some of the Manchester bands that were kicking off at the time.
Yeah.
And he got me in touch with this subsidiary of EMI
Mm.
called Jelly Records, and they signed us.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah. So then at the age of 23, 24, yeah, I
Mm.
signed subsidiary of EMI with my band. Then my band was called Dangerous Age.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a really, really strange time, I should say, Mark, to be honest. It's a
Yeah.
very strange story what happened with us. And there was a lot of these subsidiary labels signed a lot of bands. So
Yeah.
if you kind of like a band that was influenced by other bands, or you sounded like another band that big record companies have been pumping a lot of money into,
Yeah.
they they would sign you up,
Yeah.
and basically get a hold of you
Mm.
and put you on a shelf, so you didn't get in the way of anything else, and
Right.
you
Okay.
were legally signed up. It's called shelving,
Yeah.
We were legally signed up, and we couldn't gig. We couldn't do any live shows, any radio, any promotion whatsoever because we were
Yeah.
legally signed to this label. The only thing we could do was write music. So
Yeah.
you got five guys in a band with all their hopes and aspirations and dreams in one glass, you know, that was just about to break. So, and we lasted, I think it was 18 months
Yeah.
sitting on our backsides, doing nothing because the label wouldn't do anything. And I finally broke, I drove down to Manchester and, got into their offices and found out what they were doing,
Yeah.
basically signing a lot of bands and just putting them on a shelf so that they didn't get in the way of the bigger bands that were getting all the funding.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. It's heartbreaking. It would just shatter your dreams, illusions, and everything. So that really broke me, and I just said that's enough for me for a while.
Mm. So where
But
did you move on to from there then?
well, actually, what happened during that period was the label got me down to their head offices in Manchester and grilled me basically. They said, like, who's writing all your material? Who's writing all the music? Who's writing all the lyrics? And who's the spearhead? And well, I said, well, it's obviously me, that's doing all this.
Yeah.
And then it got the rest of the band down and told the band, so, sorry, we can't really work with you. We just want to work with Brian.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, but we're a band,
Yeah.
These are my brothers you're talking about, This
Mm.
is my my life. I said I'm not going to do that, and I
Yeah.
did. I stuck to my guns, and we all left the offices, and I said no. I said I'm not going to do that, lads. It's a 5-way split or nothing.
Yeah. Good for you. Yeah.
And that was the 5-way split. We had to break up after that because there was nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
So basically, I just I left it alone for a month or two. I was licking my wounds, and I got a call from a friend of mine in Amsterdam, and he said, "Do you want to come over?" And I just jumped at the chance.
Yeah.
I just needed some time away from
Yeah.
everything I was doing, the whole bubble I was in at the time, and I just needed to push the refresh button. So I got off. I was only supposed to go for like 2 or 3 months, and I spent 15 years there. I know.
Something kept you there then, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's a hub of the universe, Amsterdam. I still
Yeah.
back in Ireland now for the last 20 odd years, but I still miss the place. I still miss it. Beautiful, fabulous country, fabulous city, fabulous people.
Yeah.
I had a great time in music and TV production, film production, and I toggled between the two for years. So I was doing a lot of session work. Too terrified to join another band in case I got shot again.
Yeah.
And it was a very, very interesting time working with a lot of very interesting people.
Did you move on to like other bands then?
I did eventually, yes.
Yeah.
When I plucked up the courage to actually put something together, and it just happened accidentally.
Yeah.
Excuse me. What happened was, I was like appearing on a radio show, a national radio show, not every morning, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And the really, really well-known radio presenter, I won't say his name, really just took a shine to me, and he used to get me onto the program, and we'd get kind of Dutch celebrities onto the show, but non-musicians, like presenters or TV footballers or tennis players or whatever, and we'd just for daftness we'd sing a few songs. Well, I was musician there in the background, with the guitar, and the second voice, and this went on for quite a while, and I became kind of part of the furniture. And people would ring in and say, "Look, is this Brian guy got his own music, or is there anything we can listen to of his own?"
Yeah.
This was asked live over the air, and I just had to say, "Well, yeah, I do actually. I've got a heap of stuff."
Yeah.
So, um, the presenter said, "Well, come in tomorrow morning and do 2 or 3 of your own songs. We won't get a celebrity in tomorrow morning. We'll just get you, and you do what." Oh, all right, okay. Well, that was it, So I done 2 or 3 songs that I'd been messing around with another musician with. They were brand new songs.
Yeah.
And AMI came knocking again. So we were guaranteed national radio airplay.
Yeah.
With these songs, so it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So EMI Dino said, "Right, okay, let's go on, Brian. Let's go on. We'll sign this form, and we'll release some of your music again, will we?" I went, "Yeah, okay, go on then."
Yeah.
So it was a crazy old story because I didn't really have a band at the time, and the little unit I was working with was called Little Big Man. It was just a bit of fun, really. And the guy I was with, obviously, was Dutch guitar player, and he was about 9'12", and I'm 5'4", at my tallest with my high heels on. So it just made sense, Little Big Man, It was just a bit of fun, but it then turned into something quite serious,
Yeah.
And it was very, very interesting time. So we rattled out a few kind of semi hits, done a few tours, and it was great crack at the time. And then that morphed into something a bit more serious. It was like Little Big Man Mark II, where I did form a band around it.
Yeah.
Did
you tour around then with Little Big Man?
Yeah, we toured. Yeah, we've done a few shows up and down the Netherlands and Benelux, really.
Yeah.
And but I formed a really good bond with a fantastic producer. He wasn't a producer then, but he when Little Big Man kind of said, "That's it, we've had enough."
Yeah.
He went on to be one of the top producers in the country, and he's very, very sought after producer now. A guy called Arno Crabman.
Okay.
And he does some huge productions, for big names, very big names. So when I was writing all this material for this new album, I'd been in touch with Arno, and I was cross-checking some of the tunes with him. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? And he was correcting me on this, correcting me on that. So he kind of helped me kind of by-produce, or not even co-produce, like by-produce songs, because he was just too busy to take them on, That might change now. I might approach him again, actually, because moving a little, So, and that's... I got into all kinds of trouble. I found myself in after Little Big Man, I found myself in an international songwriting team.
Right.
And we were writing tunes for what was then pop idols,
Okay,
so
yeah.
Had runners up and finalists and everything. The young musicians who times necessarily didn't have their own material, or they promised them some kind of record deal, and then you go away, you write a couple of songs for them. The record company, this record deal that they're supposed to get, brings them, away they go, for a month or two.
Yeah.
And then you never. Yeah. Hilarious.
Yeah. So bringing it all back up to date, just tell me about your new album.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm waffling on a bit here.
No, don't worry about it. It's fine. Absolutely.
The new album, yeah. Now, I've been messing around in Ireland for the last 15 years, 20 years really, and doing in and out of all kinds of different kind of bands and things. And I just decided that, and same again, Mark. What I was doing, I was toggling in between film production, TV production, and music
Yeah.
production. And I just finally said to myself, "Look, it's time that I made a decision what I'm going to do here. I can't, I can't focus on both.
Yeah.
It isn't fair, So I just picked the best of, what was my strongest passion, obviously music. So I decided at that moment, it was about nearly 3 years ago now, and we had some family trauma, and that just triggered me. And I said, right, that's it. I've got all these songs, and I really want to do something with them.
Yeah.
It's time to start recording again, and leaving this kind of putting it all into shape and getting it all. I can't say leave a legacy because I haven't left a legacy yet.
Yeah.
And that's how the album came about. And I realized that like 8 or 10 of these songs had like a common thread through them. And it's writing was, writing things that mean something very strong.
Yeah.
And but also open for interpretation.
Yeah.
But they all had this common thread right through the whole string of songs, which then that's an album. A lot of musicians these days just bringing out single after single after single.
Yes.
Of old school. So I said, no, I'll do that, but I'll also bring out an album.
Yeah.
So the album is called Through Your Eyes, and basically the whole premise of the concept of the album, thread right through it, is basically the power of woman.
Yeah.
My mother was a massive influence on me. She pushed me into music, and really helped me along. And when we lost her there a few years ago, it was such an impact. And I sat and started thinking about that impact and about that influence and what it meant to me, and how can I express that? How can I best share that?
Yeah.
And that's when everything started falling into place. I knew I had this song, I knew I had that song. And when I looked at the lyric in most of the songs, it all came together.
Yeah.
And that's when I started thinking, right, okay, how will I do this, and with whom? So I approached the whole concept as a singer-songwriter.
All right.
Which most artists would, because I didn't have a band. I didn't really want,
Yeah.
So I have a lot of friends in Ireland who are in the music production world and everything, and it was hard to get a hold of most of the guys at all, all over the world playing, or session musicians or studios or whatever. And I came across Wayne Sheehy.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine says, have a listen to Wayne, have a listen to his stuff. So I started researching Wayne P. Sheehy, and his previous prerequisites, the art he'd been working with, how well they'd done, what sounds he was creating, and it just sounded great.
Yeah.
And really, he was really full on. It was beautiful, some of the music he creates, So I had one track ready, and I said, look, I approached Wayne and I said, would you be interested in listening to a song with the idea of, recording a single? He said, well, yeah, send me the MP3. He said, I don't have a big lot of time, but let me have a listen and we'll see what we can do. So I thanked him for his consideration, sent him the track, and like a week later, he phoned me up and he said, man, that's great. He said, yeah, I'd love to work with you. I went, oh, wow. Now, Wayne's history, I since found out when I started working with him. I mean, Wayne was with Ronnie Wood.
Really?
He's Ronnie Wood's drummer for years. He was Hot House Flowers drummer for years. He started off with Cactus World News way back in the 80s,
Jeez.
Robert Palmer's drummer. All this door just opened, and I'm like, wow, who is this guy I'm working with? But we became sincere friends, We we stuck it out. The first single came, from the album, was finished, and we just said, "Wow, yeah, that sounds great. What do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, would you consider an album with me?" Again, a Flint moment. It was like, "Oh my God, an album! Oh, it's such an undertaking."
Yeah.
Because it's a massive, massive body of work, you know. So he committed. He committed to it, and we were two, three tracks in, and he said, "No." He said, "Look," he said, "this isn't singer-songwriter material. This is a band.
Yeah.
You've presented me, and the way I'm putting it together, and the way it's sounding, it's a band." He said, "You're not a singer-songwriter." We said, "Well, you are, but this is singer-songwriter material. You know, it's an indie band. You know."
Yeah.
I thought, what am I going to do with that? You know, he was dead right. You know, and if I took it down the pathway of singer-songwriter, you know, there would have been no harm in it, but it just had more clout as a band. You know, and there's a really cool new influx of bands coming out now since the resurgence of Oasis and everything. You know,
Yes, it is.
The industry needs it, and we both agreed on that.
Yeah.
So I said, like, well, okay, what am I going to do for a band? He said, well, let's just play with things in the studio, see where it takes us. Right. So he opened his little black book, and he had all these names in. I opened my little black book, and he laughed at all the names I had. I laughed at all. We called half a dozen of them up. Before we knew it, we had probably a dozen high-end, top worldwide musicians on the album, you know?
Amazing.
Yeah, including Jerry Leonard from David Bowie.
What?
Yeah, Jerry was David Bowie's guitar player for 20-something years, and he was also he's also David Bowie's musical director, co-producer, co-writer. So he plays guitar on several tracks. We also have Robbie Malone, who's been with David Gray for the last 20 years. So again, co-producer, co-writer with David Gray. He plays bass on several tracks. We have, like I say, we've got Wayne. Wayne does he's a multi-instrumentalist anyway, you know, Wayne. So he plays piano on a few tracks, and he's the drummer and percussion on every track. And his track record is just phenomenal. We have Trevor Hutchinson on bass for 2 or 3 tracks. Trevor was with the Waterboys. For years. He's with the Lunasa now in the United States, a really top end Irish band, you know. Great, fantastic bass player. We've got Lisa Lamb on backing vocals on several tracks. I have Paul Linehan from the Frank and Walters. He's a mate. He's an old pal of mine, so he's playing bass on a few tracks. He's playing bass on the next single that's coming out in April. So that features him. It's Katrina Fallon's doing backing vocals on several tracks. Katrina was with she was with the band that played with Riverdance. Riverdance went out and they had a band in the pit in the theatres, you know. Their lead singer for years, and she's a good pal of mine. So she came into the studio and done backing vocals on a few tracks, and crazy thing happened one day. We were out. We're having a break from the studio for an evening. We needed just to put the plug in it for a while and go out. And we went over the hill because this studio I've been recording in. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's like right down at the bottom end of West Cork, a place called Kilcan on Sheep's Head. And it's like when you get there, all you see is just the Atlantic. Next stop is New York. It's paradise, beautiful place. Anyway, over the hill is a tiny little bar that we used to frequent when we were getting a bit sick of each other. We're going to get a jar of the black stuff, you know. And we bumped into this guy called Robbie Milner. Wayne knew him for years, you know. They were pals because Wayne kind of grew up in that area before he with the world, you know. And he knew Robbie, so he introduced me to Robbie, and we were working on this track called "The Brave," and it's a very, very deep droning track about wartime. Basically, it's
Yeah.
we'll get onto that another time. Anyway, so we're looking for a violin player, and Wayne said, "Hey, he's Robbie. Would you mind popping into the studio and putting a track down tomorrow?" And Robbie's like, "Okay, get me a pint and I'll think about it." So, pint of the black stuff duly arrived on the bar. And so we got off chatting, and I said, "So, what's your background then, Robbie?" I said, "You come into the studio to play on the album." I said, "I don't know what you do." Oh, he said, I'm the musical director of the Royal Oman Orchestra."
Yeah. Right.
I couldn't believe my ears. I'm like, "What?" He said, I'm an opera singer, but I'm also the director of the Royal Oman Opera and Royal Oman Orchestra." So he spends most of his time out in the Middle East, and
Yeah.
I think hopefully he's back now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he came into the studio the next day, and I could not believe my ears what he put down on that track. I'm still melting from it, and that's about 3 months ago, 4 months ago. Oh my good Lord, he was just something else, haunting. Every note was perfect, and oh my God. So the caliber of guys that we actually pulled together
I know.
for the album is quite something.
That's crazy. Did it take a long time to record then?
Yeah. We were at it the bones of 2 years,
Really? Wow.
but the problem was Wayne's busy with other projects and so
Yeah.
on. So we only had maybe 4 days in a month
Yeah. When
do.
everybody was together.
Yeah, when we could get together in his studio
Yeah.
to do what we needed to do. Well, I mean, 2 of those 4 days, you're pulling a song apart and reconstructing it. Another one of those 4 days, you're recording the bones of the song, the bolts, and then you might come up with a very, very rough mix. But that song needs another 2 or 3 days, maybe even 4 days attention before it's ready. So you can imagine the time span. He just went on and on and on and on. So last year, I just said to Wayne, I said, we can't be dragging on like this too much more longer. And what I need to do is I need to book your studio here and all the musicians, and boom, let's get in there for a month and finish, which we did the whole of August last year.
Wow.
Spent the full month in the studio, and we had probably about 15 or 20 musicians all popping in every now and again. There's a lot of my friends here from Cove who I've been playing with for years. All came down one day to secure one track.
Yeah.
That was that was incredible. Everything happened in one day. And some of these songs are taking 3 or 4 months, and this one took one day. It was
That's just
massive. So
the standout one for me is, I've told you before, Hurricane is the actual standout one for me. I absolutely adore that track.
Thank you.
It just got me right there. When I listened to it, I just could not believe my ears. I love it so much.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I've explained it before. When I listened to it, it was just me and my wife at home, and the log burner was on, the glasses, a bottle of red wine, and it was just a breathe kind of moment when I was listening to it.
Oh wow!
Absolutely loved it.
That means the world to me. It's great that something like Hurricane has that kind of impact.
Yeah, honestly,
it's hard to explain. It's hard to because I would never witness it. You see, I just get the track, construct it, make sure that it's palatable, marketable, listenable, likable, and it's everything that I wanted, and put it out there. I have no idea how it's going to be received. I haven't.
There's a few songs that get me right there, but I just put it on, just sat and listened to it and put it on, and it was just, this is just wow. Yeah, that song will stay with me for as long as I can think.
Oh wow.
I just love it. There's not many songs that do it for me, but
yeah,
it kind of hit me out of the blue, to be honest.
Thank you so much. That's great. Yeah, it's crazy how the song come about. The ghostly guitars that you hear there, that's Jerry Leonard from David Bowie.
Wow.
That's his cinematic, marvelous guitar work. He's so good, great. And the bass is that's Robbie
Yeah.
Robbie from Davy Gray, Robbie Malone. So those two guys just gel,
Yeah.
and the track just flows, and
Oh, it does.
it's just musically, it's got a lot of character. But I mean, the depth of the track, the lyric, basically what it's about is it's honing in and touching on the issues of domestic violence.
Yeah.
What that song's about. And that was all instigated and inspired by a bunch of letters that a friend of mine came to me. I knew there was something wrong with him, and we got chatting, and he opened up to me and he said, "Look," I said, "I found these letters from years and years ago,
Yeah.
from my mother to my father." And he said, "You'll have to read them yourself." And so obviously I read these letters, and it was horrific. It was awful. It wasn't very very nice. So I thought, well, that needs to be addressed. It needs to be expressed and highlighted.
Definitely.
In the best, it made an impact on me. So the best way I could do that, obviously, was offer my music to it, and got my friend's blessing to do that. Luckily, and he loves the track as well. He got all emotional with it. So
Yeah. There's something about it.
yeah, it's a great track. So so that's kind of what Hurricane's about. So like I say, there's this thread of family, woman. There's another track on the album called Queen of Heaven, which is basically it's about the wonders that women do that are kind of unseen. It was originally written about the First Lady. The First Lady over years and years and years of American history.
Yeah.
And the background work that they do and have done, and the power that the influence that they've had. Take Michelle Obama for instance.
Yeah.
What she, with the power of the president behind her. Or which way around that goes, I don't know.
Yeah.
She done wonders and still is. Hillary Clinton done exactly the same. So that power strikes me. And again, it holds me like my mother's heart would. So that influenced a lot of things that was happening on the album. So
I think even down to normal life, I think, like you keep saying about women, they're just there in the background, but we couldn't survive without them.
Oh no,
100%. I totally agree with you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, they push you.
Yeah.
Take care of you. They push you into things, and you normally wouldn't do, and they're encouraging, they're loving, they consider just everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. It's just, and it's sometimes unrecognized, I think.
Yeah, it is. A lot of times.
Needs to be more nurtured and not, I wouldn't say addressed, but I would say appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you.
Again, to add to that, the best way I could kind of give as much as I can, to that accolade is my music. Is highlight the power of that in my music. So there's several tracks on the album that if you want to interpret them that way, that you can, but you can interpret them in any which way you choose.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, now you've kind of explained that to me, I'll probably see things in a different light, on the album, but I've got a better understanding, when I listen to it. So yeah, definitely, that's good. That's great to know, actually.
Yeah. Did you get a copy of the album?
I've only listened to obviously the Hurricane so far, but I haven't got the copy of it yet. But yeah, I want to sit down when I've got a weekend off,
Yeah.
and just play it through.
It's
Definitely.
I mean, there's another track on there called "The Brave," which I took
Mm.
which is extremely cinematic,
Yeah.
and that track was inspired by again by letters, and
Yeah.
it was a bunch of letters that we found as a family, excuse me, from my grandmother to my grandfather
Yeah.
when he was conscripted and taken away to war.
Okay.
So there's a series of letters sent to him, and there was letters returned back, and
Yeah.
we found these A and B letters,
Wow.
and it was absolutely amazing. You could see that both of them unraveling
Yeah.
during the process and the progression of the and time
Yeah.
the time period of these letters during the Second World War. The first letters are very strong as my grandmother's offering loads of inspiration to my grandfather, and saying
Mm.
doing the right thing, and you're brave, and keep
Yeah.
up keep up the good work. We're all proud of you. And into the third letter, which is probably there's probably 3 or 4, maybe 5, 6 months increment in between. Time in
Yeah.
between. You're starting to unravel.
Yeah.
We want you back here. Things aren't looking as good as losing it basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
So, so the way that song is structured is like the verse is the letters to my grandfather.
Mm.
Chorus is his letters back.
Ah, right. Okay.
You
All right.
know. So as the song goes on, you can hear these songs get these parts of the songs getting stronger and stronger lyrically, and a
Yeah.
bit unraveled. The crazy music behind them. It's like it's so cinematic. It's like when we played it back in the studio after we'd done the mix, you could actually
Yeah.
visualize the
Right.
track, you could
Yeah.
visualize these letters in a story, in a narrative, in a film.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah,
So what have you got coming up in this year then? Have you got any tours coming out, or are you going out on the road?
not yet, not yet. I'm basically working on single releases.
Yeah.
But the one came out last year,
Mm.
November, which done quite well. That got to number one. Hurricane was released there 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Got to number two, which is great.
Yeah.
The new single called "These Are My Streets" it'll be coming out in April,
Okay. Yeah.
and there's another single coming out in June, at the end of June or the start of July.
Mm.
The label services I'm working with at the moment, we haven't quite decided which track that is going to be. So that'll be 4 singles
Yeah.
coming out.
Yeah.
Then the album. So the album will be
Mm.
out. I'd say the end of July, start of August.
All right. Okay. All right.
Then that means I've got a collection of songs I can offer an audience, and
Yeah.
we'll be doing a few support slots up and down
Mm.
between probably the end of March and throughout the year, and see if I can drop into the festival circuit
Yeah.
later on in the year. But there's nothing set in concrete yet
Yeah. Yeah.
as far
Oh,
as I'm concerned. I mean, first of all, I need to get a bit of meat on the bone. Yeah, exactly, because this. I'm not going to call it a project. I'm not going to call it a collaboration. It's a band. It's a virtual band, and
yeah.
it's the Deep Hour. That's all I can call it.
Yeah.
Um, until it's built an audience, because we start, like I say, the Brian O'Glanby story. I've got thousands of people who come and see me on a regular basis, but they don't know the Deep Hour.
Yeah.
I'm having to transfer all my kind of socials and all my digital marketing from
Okay.
Brian O'Glanby to the Deep Hour for
Yeah.
the realization of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But that marketing shift is taking up all my time, and I just I really want to give the audience something to cherish,
Yeah. Yeah.
rather than just make a scrappy job of it.
Yeah.
I'll give it production value and make the tickets worthwhile.
Yeah. So where the Deep Hour then? Where did that come from?
Deep Hour.
Wow.
Now that's a good question. Actually, the Deep Hour is it's like a catatonic state. It's the state of mind you have deep in the night when you're your deepest of sleep, and DreamWorks kicks in.
All right. Okay.
That that dreaming, the REM
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, wow. How did
And
you come about with that title, though?
but that at that moment, you're kind of having an out of body experience. You're not really, you're so deep in slumber, you're not really in control of your body.
Yeah,
And it doesn't last all night. It maybe lasts for an hour.
yeah,
So hence the deep hour. Now, I I I personally think that if you can create music that makes you feel like that, like
yeah,
you're hovering and bordering on a dreamscape, you
yeah,
know, that's the deep hour, and that's the meaning behind it all. So,
yeah.
as you say about Hurricane, it has that music takes you away from your normal
Yes.
moments that you're having
Yeah,
into this other place that you just really, really love to be,
yeah, 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 exactly.
which is the dream world, So
Yeah,
that music means to me. So it's that's the deep hour.
yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. I was trying to describe hurricane, but you've just described it for me there. Yeah, perfect. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at, but the words wouldn't come out.
Brilliant.
So,
Class.
Brian, are you up for playing us a song? Like
Yeah,
a
sure.
version of one of your songs?
Would you like to hear Hurricane?
I'd absolutely love to hear
Yeah.
hurricane. I really
Okay.
would.
I'll just open it here. I was just busy restringing my guitars as we got to. So this is my trusty Takamine guitar, which I wrote the whole album on,
Yeah,
and it's beautiful. It just resonates. So for you, Mark, and your show, this is the Deep Hour. This is Hurricane. It's not fire, it's a hurricane. My body's shaking from the fear again. Blow for blow, they fall like pouring rain. If it's not fire, it's a hurricane. I called your mom to take the kids again. Now I'm the liar, I'm the one to blame. I'm barely breathing, I'm a dying candle in the rain. If it's not fire, it's a hurricane. Here I stand in the wide open, lost in a world of pain. Here I'm drowning in a wide gray ocean, screaming out your name. Here it comes again. Your only prayers in the picture frame. I wrote some words to drive it home again. Bitter pages that were never sent. I hide the bruising, but the letters spoke the lines. I use a man to look us in the eye. The hand of fury bears no shame. No love for those on the receiving end. It's a burning rage say, if it's not fire, it's a hurricane. Take my hand through the wild gray ocean, shelter me from rain. Take the line to the wild gray ocean, so the world can feel my shame. And here it comes again. Your only prayers in a picture frame. How tears scattered by the rain. If it's not fire, it's a hurricane.
Fantastic. I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
I love it. So your voice is, I just love your voice. It's, yeah.
Thanks. Cheers.
Absolutely love it.
Right, it's a lovely track, that one. Like, yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to hear the whole album though.
I tell you that, so you got like your own sneak preview.
I'd love that. Thank you so much.
Just takes you to beyond the deep hour, you know.
Bro, that would be interesting, yeah, to listen to.
So we brought out an MP3 WAV lossless, maybe cassette, because cassettes are, you know, vinyl, Blu-ray, and CD, and all of those. Somewhere this year they'll be released. You know?
Yeah. Obviously after July, or
yeah, it'll be after July, probably August, I think.
Yeah.
The singles now are all being just released on with the DSPs, you know, the digital streaming platforms.
Yeah.
And download as well, which is very important.
Yeah, definitely. All done. Yeah.
Make music, they make money these days to survive.
Yeah, you've got to do. Go on. Sorry.
Releasing the singles, I always put out like a pre-save campaign, only with iTunes.
Yeah.
So anybody that's really interested in the Deep Hours new singles, they go to iTunes, pre-save it, and you pay some. I think it's 79p or
nominal, isn't it?
€1.29 or something, which is nothing really.
No, it's not.
But if you got a substantial fan club who do that, then it sends your tracks straight into the charts.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So the download and the streaming counts for the charts, you know. So and that's how you get a lot of recognition, a bit more growth with your fan club, you know. So.
Yeah. I'd love to get it on vinyl though. Definitely get it on vinyl. Absolutely. That'd be great.
Me too. There's a lot of work to do with that, you know, because I mean, the gatefold kind of system, you know, there's a lot of artwork needs to be created, put into that, you know. So yeah. No stranger to artwork, but I need to get it right, you know.
Yeah, obviously don't rush it. No, you can't rush that.
No, not at all. No.
I've
got some great guys in my team, you know, so some good artists that I know very well. So I'll tap into their kind of their art and see what we come up with, you know.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Brian, thank you so much for coming on. I absolutely love talking to you. I think you're such an interesting guy, honestly. I could sit and listen to you all night. I seriously could. You've got some right stories to tell about.
Oh yeah.
Some right. Well, thank you, Brian. I've much appreciated. And thank you for playing that Hurricane. It's just
my absolute pleasure, and thank you so much for having me on the show. And
no, thank you.
Wish you the best of luck with it going forward, and keep in touch, and we'll do it again sometime soon, Mark. Yeah,
absolutely, Brian. Yeah, definitely. When your album comes out, definitely.
Yeah, I'll send it to you in the meantime.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, Brian.
No problem.
Catch you soon.
Take care.
Thank you.